Hi everybody, welcome to your webinar on Jackrabbit's weekly calendar. I just wanted to go over a couple of ways that you can stay in touch with all of us here at Jackrabbit. First is through Jackrabbit support. So by clicking on the question mark icon in the top right hand corner of your database, you can easily get to support at any time. You can send in a quick chat, submit a ticket, and as well, you can always email us. Also, in the top right-hand corner, you will see a bullhorn icon. This is our Jackrabbit Resource Center. Your Jackrabbit Resource Center is full of lots of different opportunities that you can connect with us through our training opportunities. You can see a list of all of our latest enhancements. From time to time, we do switch out our different featured videos. You have access to a number of tutorials, and as well access to our idea portal. If you're interested in more of our webinars, you can always go to jackrabbitclass.com/support/webinars and sign up there to get notified when we do add webinars from time to time. Next, you have access to our Jackrabbit training system. Your Jackrabbit training system is intended for anybody that wants to offer your staff the opportunity for self-paced training in order to master all of the core features of Jackrabbit. And then next we have our Facebook users group. So the Jackrabbit software users group, it is for all active Jackrabbit users to share all of your things. We encourage you to connect with others in the group, ask questions about Jackrabbit, but you can also ask questions about your business. Let's get started by talking about your weekly calendar. So your weekly calendar can truly be your command central, and there are actually a couple of places where you can access the calendar, either directly from your executive dashboard. And then there is also always on every page a small icon in the top right of your screen where you can access the calendar. As well, if you are using Jackrabbit grids from the classes menu, you can access your weekly calendar there as well. One thing to note is if you are accessing the calendar from the grids, any filters that you have on your grid will automatically be applied. And we will get deeper into that in just a little bit. One other thing to note as well, if you're not familiar with the calendar, is that it is internal only. So it's not available to your families. It's just mainly for your admin working inside of your database. Also remember that your weekly calendar opens up in a new window and defaults to display a week long of classes. And then once you're in there, you do have other calendar schedule views that you can select. So just some of the things that you can do from your weekly calendar. You're able to review the summary information for all of your classes. You can enroll new and existing students. You have accurate enrollment counts in real time. You're able to manage your location's class schedule. You are able to check your instructor availability. And as well, you're able to manage your substitute instructors. So the three views that we will be going over today, we will be going over your full weekly calendar. Then we're going to review everything that you can see in your daily view, as well as everything that you can see within your room view. So like I just said a moment ago, you can get to your weekly calendar from your executive dashboard right here with this weekly calendar button. And then as well, if you do have another window open up, you can always get to your calendar from right here. So when you first open your weekly calendar, it will bring up your current week schedule with no criteria selected. So there are no filters applied and all of your classes are showing. You can use the previous and the next button to go to the previous or the next week. As well, you could also come in here and type in a custom date field. Next, let's talk about the buttons that are on the top. So first we have your refresh button, and then next we have your change criteria button. And then next you can click on this if you want to come in and search for a class name, if you wanted to bring up classes that may be inactive or per day only classes. You can select a certain location, a certain room number, if you wanted to filter by instructor, also by session, and then you next have if you want to filter down by your different category 1s, 2s, or 3s. And then next we have your add a class button. So when I click on this right now, just notice that it does require me to enter my class name, my location, my class start dates and ends, and same with my time. So notice right now that there is no time selected and there is no room even selected. And the next we have your day view button. So you would just want to click on that to get to it. And then you'll notice that now I have a weekly calendar button. And then next we have your room view. So we will go over each of those individually just a little bit later. Then next you have your option to print if you want it to print out your calendar. And then as well, we have your settings. So your settings just let you control your start time and your end time. So you can see in my database, I don't have any classes available in the mornings. So I've got my start time set to 3 p.m. My last class ends at 9. So I've got my end time for 9 p.m. The next, if you wanted to close your calendar, you could click the close button. And as well, you could always just X out of it right here. And then next we have your help. Your help brings you to your regular Jackrabbit Help Center. And then next on the bottom, I already talked about the dates. Now we have the option to show students on hover. This is automatically defaulted to be unchecked, but if you wanted to check that, you could, and I will just show you the difference in a little bit. And then as well, if you wanted to show your full classes. So this is defaulted to be on so that all of your classes are automatically showing. But if you didn't want to show any classes that are full, if you're probably looking at your schedule and getting ready to enroll somebody, you could always uncheck that. The next thing that I want to bring your attention to is that you can actually click on the column header of any date if you want it to bring up your daily views. So let's just say, for example, this Thursday class here, or Thursday day of the week, then it automatically brings up my daily view. And we'll go over that again in just a little bit. You will also note that right here, it says double click on a time slot to add a new class. So from anywhere within here, if you wanted to add a new class, let's just say I'm going to go for 5 o'clock on Friday. If I double click, it is automatically going to bring up the same add a class modal. But you will note that now my start time and my end time already populate in. Next, let's talk about the information that you can see from a glance without even having to actually click or even hover on either one of your classes. So we're just going to have a look at this Ballet 1 class here. So I'm not going to hover over it. But you can see I've got my class title in there. So it's Ballet 1 Thursdays, 4:30 p.m. And then I've got in brackets 2. That lets me know my number of openings without even having to hover. As well, 1 FD, you probably guessed it, is a future drop. And 1 FE is 1 future enroll. So sticking with this Ballet 1 class on Thursdays, let's just see what happens when we hover. So when I hover over this class, you can see all of the information that I can see. So again, I can see my days, my time. It will list my instructors or instructor. So you'll notice on this class right now in particular, I've got instructor Christine and I've got instructor Harry. And in brackets, it does say absent. So my instructor is absent on this day. And then it says substitute, assign later. So we will go over all of that in just a little bit, but this is all of the information that you can see right away. Next, you can see your location, your room number, your category. So my category 1 of ballet and my end date. To the right of this box, again, by hovering over it, you can see that I have those 2 openings. Right now, I'm at a size of 6 with a max size of 8. If this class was full and it did have a wait list, the number of people on the wait list would show there and you could actually click on that. And then as well, if I wanted to see my future drops and my future enrolls. Then down at the bottom, we have the option to enroll an existing student or register a new student. So I just want to bring your attention to right now behind the calendar screen, you can see that I've got my executive dashboard. If I actually click on this class link right here, you will notice up here now that the class record automatically opens in your main Jackrabbit window. So if you do have your weekly calendar fully maximized, this may actually get hidden behind. So you may need to minimize it so that you can see it. So I'm just coming back here to this hover right here. So remember earlier I mentioned about show students on hover. If I have this checked and I click here, it lets me see all of my students that are currently enrolled. And if I want to, So again, from here, I can click to enroll an existing student and it brings up my enrollment page. And then coming back to hover, if I click to register a new student, it automatically brings up my quick registration form. As well, from here, if I come to this waitlist section right here and I click on either of these links, it just brings up my information for my student that is dropped, my future enroll. Again, it would show my wait list if I did have a wait list, and as well, if I had any makeups or absences that were scheduled within the class, it would automatically show there. Also, just a note to remember about the accurate enrollment count. So they are displayed in real time. So for example, if I had a class that was full and that had a future drop scheduled, let's say for next week, then when that day comes, it will accurately reflect that there is now one opening when you advance the weekly calendar to that date. So I know that in this ballet class that I did have a future enroll for the week of the 23rd. So if I just move up to that week, so now when I move up to that week, you can see that my little bracket there is now an actual one. I have got one future drop, but I have 0 future enrolls for this class right now. When the show students checkbox up in your criteria settings, if that is select to no, and you have a class size with a maximum of 1, what will be displayed will actually be your student's name. So this is really, really helpful if you are somebody that does offer private classes. So just looking at this one right here, I'm going to uncheck show students on hover, and you can see it is the student's name. If I do click here, just notice up here, if I do click here, it automatically brings up the name of the class within Jackrabbit, but on your weekly calendar, it will show you that individual student. I know some of you may be wondering about my color coding. So you would actually get to that from within your database under your gear, settings, general, and then your drop down list right here. And it's all under your category 1s. So you can see right here, I can click on this crayon and I can choose any sort of color that I want. So one thing to note, and that you may have noticed actually on mine, and I did this on purpose just to show you, is that for your category 1, when a darker color is chosen, your text is going to actually change to display white. And then when a lighter color is chosen, your text will actually display in black. So you can see the difference between my Ballet 1 class and then these tumbling classes here. So for this next section, we are going to be working with your day view. So your daily calendar displays by instructor and also by your instructor skills. The columns are dynamic and shift left based on which instructor has the most activity. Instructors with the most classes on a specific day will be in the first column, and then so on. So you will notice at the top, all of my buttons are still the same, but you will notice the addition of right here, hide instructors with no activity. This is defaulted to be checked, but maybe we need to have a look at everybody today. So now I can see all of this. So right now across the top, I just have their first initial and their last name. And then this next row are all of those instructors' skills. If I am not right now worried about looking at the instructor skills, if I just come click anywhere along this row, it will actually hide the skills, or I can open them back up right here. So again, you can see my classes are here just like they were before. So the same ballet class is here, and I've got 2 instructors that are assigned to it. You will also notice that I have red and green. So within Jackrabbit, you do have the option for your instructors to add their availability, and they can also add time off. They can do this from within the database, and they can also do it if you give them the permission to through their staff portal. One thing to remember is that by hovering over a class or clicking into a class, just like you can from the weekly calendar, the exact same thing happens even when you are on your daily view. So if I were to click this class right now, it is automatically, again, going to open up, oopsies, right behind my weekly calendar. And then again, if I hover, I can see all of this information. So you may have noticed that on this one in particular, we have white and pink striping. This is to let me know that this class needs to have a substitute assigned because Harry has already put in an absence, and I am going to show you all of that on the staff record in just a little bit. So you can see right here, I do need to assign a substitute to this class. So again, I clicked on it. I come over here. Now I've got my class record. If I come to my instructors tab, so you can see Harry has already put in that he is going to need a sub from March the 9th until March the 30th. My substitute column right here does say assign later. So I have to come over here and I click on my rows. I can edit this. So I'm just going to click on edit so that you can see it. So you can see this absence, instructor absence was for Harry on the date, and I had assign later selected. So I'm actually now going to assign my instructor, but I need to know what skills these instructors have because I need to have an instructor that is going to have this skill of ballet. So I could actually take John and assign John as the substitute that day. One other thing to note is that if you are looking at it from your daily view, before you even go into your class, you can see if maybe an instructor does have certain availability. So right here, I know that this is a ballet class. I need somebody that has this skill of ballet, but I would also like somebody that is actually, I know for sure, available to teach during that time. So you can see right here, I can either select Shannon or I could select Amber. So then coming back here over to my substitute, I'm going to change this from John and I am going to change it to Shannon because I know that Shannon is absolutely available on that day. If I wanted to add a comment, I could add it there. And you can see my substitute records are saved. Now when I come back to my calendar and I click on refresh, you can see that Harry is out here on a day that he does have an absence. But you can see that the substitute is Shannon. And then you will also see that Shannon has now pulled over from over here over to here because they now have that assigned to them. So next, I'm just going to quickly show you all about the availabilities. So I'm just going to minimize, come back to my main screen here. So first, your availability colors are under your gear icon, settings, general. And then if you scroll all the ways down right here, these are my staff availability settings and also my staff availability notifications. If I have one person at my location that's in charge of managing substitutes and absences availability, then you would want to make sure that you have that address in there. And then next we're going to come to staff. And I'm just going to use Christine as an example. So right here is where you can add the skill. So you just need to click on add skill and then select from your drop-down box. Your skills are entered under the gear under your general settings. And then next we have your availability tab. So your availability within the database and within your staff portal all work the same. So if I needed to edit this availability, I can add different availability, or if I needed to, I could add time off. So if I needed to add time off right here, let's just go with this same day. Let's go for the whole day and click on save right here. So next we're going to have a quick look at your room view. just right here. So this is really, really great as well when you're working on a new schedule and you want to add more classes. And let's just say, for example, I'm going to add a new tumbling class. So I could click on any space on my rooms that I know that do have availability. So I know that at 4 p.m. floor A, I could click here and then add in a new class. So you will note this time, not only are my start and end times pre-selected, but my room is also pre-filled in for me as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that class in. Okay, so now that I have that class entered, you can see that here now on my room view, but I just want to bring your attention quickly just back to your day view. So if I click on my day view right now, you can see that, again, hide instructors with no activities automatically checked. So I'm going to uncheck that. And then I just want to bring your attention to this unassigned column right here. So right now, I can see that this class does not have an instructor assigned. So again, if I wasn't already on it, if I clicked it, I could come here and then come over to instructors. And then if I click right here, I can go ahead and add another instructor right there and then just click Save Changes. And then now when I refresh my calendar, you can see that that tumbling class is there now under Shannon. Next, I just have a couple of quick little things that I wanted to demonstrate for you. So earlier I had talked about how if you were on your all classes grid, whatever filters you had selected, they would also pull in to your weekly calendar. So for example, right now, I'm just going to go ahead and select this category 1 of cheer. So you can see right now it's showing 10 out of 94 of my classes because this is what I've now filtered down to. If I come over here and I click on filtered calendar, and I'm going to go ahead and check my weekly. So you will see now when this class pops up, it's only these classes that have this category 1 showing. So remember earlier we were working with that ballet class and that is no longer showing there. If you needed to go ahead and have all of your classes show up, you would need to either take off any of your filters and come into your filtered calendar, or you would just come here and click on to get back to your full weekly calendar. The last thing that we are going to go over today is actually your monthly calendar. Your monthly calendar in Jackrabbit, it is actually under your reports. So if you weren't sure where to find it, you could come to Find Reports, type in Calendar to bring it up. I already do have it selected as a favorite right here. So if I click on this, so you can see just in one quick glance, all of my classes for my entire month are there. If I needed to get to that class, again, from here, I could actually click on it and it's going to bring me directly to that class. And then as well, some people do like to have this printed out, maybe post it somewhere within your studio. You can easily come up here into your top right-hand corner on your monthly calendar and print that if you like. And that is everything that you could possibly want to know about your weekly calendar. If you do have any questions about anything at all that was presented in this webinar today, you can always reach out to support. You can send an email to support@jackrabbittech.com. You can send in a quick chat, or if you want it as well, you could also submit a ticket. And that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.